Gratitude is a tool that we all should take advantage of. Hello, 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 and happy Sunday. Welcome to the Manifest on Purpose show. We're doing something new around here today. As you can see, we're not usually here on Sundays, but from here on out, we will be because Sundays are reserved for self-care. Yes, every Sunday, I will be coming on to give you tips about self-care, and I will call this Self-Care Sundays. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for inviting your friends and guests. And thank you for subscribing here and on the website at manifestonpurpose.net. The God in me loves the God in you. For today's episode of Self-Care Sunday, we are going to set our sights on gratitude. I have very special guest, Lori Saitz, here to talk to us all about gratitude. Please help me welcome our guest, Lori Saitz. Hello, Lori. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I am very excited to have this conversation.
And I'm pleased to have you here, and I'm excited as well. Let's jump into it, Lori. Let's talk about gratitude.
Yes.
Can you tell me what excites you so much about gratitude?
Well, to start with, from an energetic standpoint, and we are all energetic beings, everything is made of energy. Gratitude is the highest energetic vibration you can get to. It's love, the same way as love and joy and gratitude, they're all supercharged energetically. And so when you are in the state of gratitude, like you can't get any higher. And I mean that in like every sense of the word.
You know, that's very interesting. Gratitude is the highest we can go. So that means that all of us should be reaching to obtain that level of gratitude. What got you into this, Lori?
That is an interesting question. And, I don't even know 100% that I can trace back to like, where did I start talking or getting interested in gratitude? However, in 2003, I started my first company and I was making a cookie that was based on a family recipe. And the name, the gratitude cookie, came about through a mastermind conversation, because that was about the time that the movie The Secret came out. You might remember, and they were talking about the gratitude rock. And so I was part of this mastermind and we were talking about the cookies and somebody else in the mastermind. And this is why it's so important to be around other people who can fuel your creativity, because you don't come up with all the good ideas on your own, So we were in this group and we were talking, and one of the other people said, "These are like gratitude cookies." And I'm like, yes. And so that product became known worldwide as the gratitude cookie. And I was marketing it as a way for businesses to say thank you to their clients and to people who sent them referrals. And so as I was building that business, I was doing a lot of speaking about gratitude and how to use gratitude to differentiate your business and to use it as a way to market yourself. And so that's where I really started talking about gratitude. And then it just kind of evolved from there.
I remember the gratitude rock. That's an interesting and yummy spin on gratitude. The gratitude cookie. Where are those at now, Lori?
Yeah, well, I ran that business for 11 years. I couldn't scale it the way I would have liked to. And I ended up shutting it down. So I sold all the equipment. People still come to me to this day and are like, "Those cookies, are you ever going to start that business again?" I'm like, I sold all the equipment, and there's a lot that goes into manufacturing a food product with no preservatives and shipping it all over the world. Like there's just so many factors that make it really challenging that's not likely to ever come back again, at least not on a commercial level. But so many great lessons learned out of that. And the irony of it was, when I started that business, I was not actually a very grateful person. And my mentor called me out on it. And gave me an exercise to practice that let me share this. Maybe your listeners can benefit. So I was complaining about whatever the challenge or problem of the day was. And my mentor said, you need to read chapter 7, I believe it is, in The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Are you familiar with this book?
Yes, very much familiar with that book.
Okay, so chapter 7 is on gratitude. And he said, Lori, you need to read chapter 7 every day, twice a day for the next 30 days. That was the challenge he gave me. And I said, all right, Paul, I'm up for that challenge. And I did it. It's for people who are listening, the chapter is about 3 or 4 pages long. It's not a really long chapter, but reading it, it's amazing. This book was put out in the 1920s or 30s, I think the beginning of 1930s. And it is the information in there when you're reading it today, like it could have been written yesterday. It's so relevant. Anyway, I did this reading of the twice a day for 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, I always joke around when I'm doing presentations on stages. I'm like, yeah. And then at the end of 30 days, Oprah's team called me and they wanted to put the gratitude cookies in Oprah's favorite things. And everybody's like, what? That's amazing. I'm like, yeah, that didn't happen.
No worries, Lori. You can send it to me and I can put it on the list of Kimberly's favorite things.
Yes. Oh, that would be even better. So yeah, no, honestly, nothing happened at the end of 30 days. Like there was no noticeable change, but a few months later, my husband at the time and I were driving home from a friend's house at Thanksgiving. It was irony of it was Thanksgiving evening. We're driving home up I-95 and smoke starts pouring out in front of my car. And I managed to pull off the road and kind of at the next exit and just like roll into a gas station that was right there off the exit and call a tow truck. And as we were sitting there waiting for the tow truck to come at 11:30 at night, instead of going into a rant, which is normally what I would have done, right? Everybody's been there. I can't believe this is happening. It's a holiday. Like your hair's on fire. You're angry. No, instead, I went immediately to gratitude. Thank goodness I was able to get off the highway safely. Thank goodness we're only 5 miles from home. Thank goodness a tow truck driver is coming to get us at 11:30 on Thanksgiving night. Like all of this gratitude. And that's where I noticed the shift.
Wow. Thank goodness you were safe, Lori.
Yeah.
And what did that shift do for you?
From that point, that's where it was almost like I automatically will look for the gratitude in situations. So that was an potentially annoying, frustrating, anger-inducing situation. And that's not where I went. I went instead to gratitude. And from then on, that's when it totally shifted how I see things. So it's not that I don't get angry and frustrated and sad and feel the emotions. I'm still human, as we all are. And it's not about not feeling the emotions. It's about finding the gratitude within the situation, regardless. Because what you look for, you will always find. So if you look for things to complain about, things to criticize, you will find them. There are certainly plenty of them around in the world, right? We don't have to look very far for that stuff. At the same time, if you are looking for things to be grateful for, you will find them too in the same situations. That's the cool thing. Like you can have two people looking into the exact same situation and seeing completely different things.
That reminds me of the glass half empty and the glass half full thing.
Yeah.
So what about those people that say, I don't have anything to be grateful for. I can't find anything to be grateful for. How can those people begin to search inside of themselves and find things that they can be grateful for?
Things to be grateful for don't need to be enormous things. Like it could be, I'm grateful I have the ability to see. I'm grateful I have the ability to hear birds chirping. I'm grateful I have a warm bed to sleep in. Whatever it is, I've had clients and people I've worked with just find gratitude for being able to get out of bed in the morning. Like you just start however small you think it is, because not even small things can be big things. So it doesn't have to be, I'm grateful I have $1 million. It's even the smallest things. Just what can you find to be grateful for? Even among, your life is maybe falling apart or feels like it is. Where can, I'm grateful I have a warm cup of tea. Start wherever. And again, when you start looking for things to be grateful for, you will start seeing more of them.
So in essence, you're saying start small and take your time.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And this isn't about writing a random list of things to be like, a lot of people ask me about keeping a gratitude journal, which is cool. If that's something that people want to do, I personally don't do that, because to me, it feels like, it's another thing on the to-do list. Like, before I go to bed, I got to remember to write down my 5 like it's just another chore. And that's not the best way to go into creating a gratitude list. At the same time, if you can, again, at night when you're falling asleep, think back on your day. Did someone hold the door open for you? Did someone let you sneak in front of them in traffic? Did somebody, reach something on a shelf that was too high for you to reach at a store? Anything that you can just go, oh, yeah, that was so nice of them. Or if it didn't have anything to do with somebody else, like what did you do for yourself? Were you able to do a kindness for yourself? Could you feel gratitude for that? Could you feel gratitude for just really anything? And it's that feeling of gratitude. A lot of times people are making a list of things that they're grateful for. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my job. Like they're just writing the same thing every day because they think that those are things that they should be grateful for. And it's really getting into that feeling of like joyful celebration of what can you feel? That's the piece that's a lot of times missing, and yet is so crucial, is that feeling of gratitude. Like, oh man, I am so lucky that I can see all of the colors in nature. I am so lucky. Like sometimes people have a hard time, like, well, what does gratitude actually feel like? When you tell people to feel gratitude, I don't know, what does that feel like? It feels like joy. It feels like I'm so lucky that.
Why do you think so many people overlook gratitude now?
It's a human characteristic, or I think just we are wired, well, evolutionarily, is that a word? Evolutionarily, we are wired to look out for danger, to find, so that we didn't get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. And so we're always looking for danger. We're always looking for things to be cautious of. And so from that standpoint, I think that's one reason. Secondly, we get conditioned to, again, look for things to criticize and complain about. I don't know what it is about humans, but we love to find things that are wrong with, we're so judgmental. And again, I think that's partly how we're wired, but we can rewire ourselves the same way Paul had me do that exercise. What I was essentially doing, and what I invite everybody to do, it's possible, is rewiring our brain, like literally rewiring your brain to see gratitude instead of judgment.
That's deep, Lori. That's deep. That's really deep. Rewiring yourself to see gratitude instead of judgment. And here on the Manifest on Purpose show, we talk about that a lot, reprogramming the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you just really touched on something very deep there. And I hope the audience is paying attention to this, because this is one aspect of ourselves that we need to look at and consider reprogramming. Thank you, man. I'm feeling gratitude for just sitting here talking with you today, Lori, because I'm learning so much about gratitude.
Yeah, it's an amazing, I mean, again, this getting into this energy.
Why do you think gratitude is so powerful?
Again, because it's that energetic vibration. The universe responds when you're at this high vibration. That's the energy of God, the higher power, whatever you want to call it. That's the same energy as it. And so when you're vibrating at that level, again, this is what makes manifesting happen, is when you are energetically matched to the vibration of that thing that you're manifesting. That's when it shows up. And gratitude, being at that energetic level of gratitude, that's really what's required to manifest. You can't manifest good things. I was going to say, I mean, good and bad, those are judgments, right? Again, we're so judgmental. But when you're in the lower vibrations of anger, frustration, grief, again, not saying don't feel them, because feel your emotions. What you resist persists. So feel them and work through them and reach just to a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, and pull yourself out. But when you are in those lower vibrations, what you're manifesting is the equivalent of those lower vibrations. When you're finding things to be critical of, you manifest more things to be critical of. And so when you can get into that higher energetic vibration, that's when the cool goals and achievements and happiness starts coming into it. Now, I was thinking when you mentioned, we were talking about judgment a minute ago. One of my really good friends, we were hanging out, going somewhere, doing something, and I made some snarky comment about somebody because, again, all right, I'm not perfect. None of us are. And she said something that she had learned that she does now, and now I do it, is bless her, change me. I run that in my head now when I find myself being judgmental, because again, it's how we're wired. I'm working on wiring myself differently. I can still be really judgmental. And a lot of times those judgments are, we're seeing something in someone else that we don't like in ourselves. However, now when I catch myself doing this, I say that to myself, bless her, bless him, change me.
That's deep. Wow. Judgment is something that we all should be aware of. And for me, I've noticed once I became aware of judgment, I noticed that right away I would see whatever I was judging show up in my life. So that judgment is important to let go of. And one of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about gratitude is one of the daily routines that I use. I like to get up early in the morning and start my day with gratitude. And I started this during a time where I was going through some depression. And I would just start up in gratitude. And shortly after, I began to feel some relief for the anxiety that I was going through that gratitude. And I've noticed that it seemed like things would show up and manifest in my life. Well, positive things. And we said we're not judging. But some of the things that I wanted would start showing up right away just by me being in gratitude.
Yes.
Today, I want to ask you if you can share some things that the viewers can do, some simple things every day to kind of put that gratitude in practice.
Yes. Okay. I have this exercise that, first of all, y'all can go find the book, The Science of Getting Rich, and read that chapter like I did. It's in the public domain now, so you can find it for free if you search online. I got another exercise, though, that you can actually do right this minute. As soon as you stop listening to this podcast, when we're finished, you can go do this. It's called the But I'm Grateful For exercise. So again, we'll go back to finding things to be critical of or complain about, because we all do it. The next time you find yourself complaining or criticizing, catch it and say, but I'm grateful for what? What else can you be grateful for? We are having amazing weather right now in the area where we both live. And then there's snow in the forecast for this weekend, like crazy. So somebody could potentially be like, I can't believe it's going to snow this weekend. But I'm grateful. It's almost 70 degrees today. Or it doesn't even have to necessarily be related. It could be, anger or frustration around a situation at work, let's say. But I'm grateful I get to go hang out with my friends tonight. Or I'm grateful I have a great book to read that I'm really into. Whatever it is, find that something to be grateful for and tack it on to the criticizing and complaining because you're cutting it off. Have you ever heard not to use the word but?
Yes.
Why? Do you know why?
Yes. No.
Because typically the word but negates the whole first part of something that you're saying. Kimberly, you did such a great job with planning this event, but next time, could you remember to do X? Like you just didn't even hear that whole first part. All you heard was, next time, could you do this other thing better? You didn't hear the compliment because
that makes sense.
I said, but in this case, we're doing it on purpose. We want to negate the whole complaining, criticizing thing and focus on the second part, which is the gratitude.
And that makes a whole lot of sense. Yeah, that's a great tip to use. Yeah, we're having snow coming in, but my thing is I get to stay in and catch up on some of the things that I should have been doing all along.
There you go. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great tip. That's a great tip. Thank you for those two tips. And that book again, can you repeat it in case the audience didn't hear it because they may want to go in and try that out.
Absolutely. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. And the author is Wallace D. Wattles. So just do an online search and you'll be able to find it.
And how can they find you, Lori?
Yes. My website is called Zen Rabbit, ZenRabbit.com. So zenrabbit.com. And we had talked before about the gratitude meditation that I've created that I would love to share with your audience. So zenrabbit.com/gratitude-meditation. And they can download this 6-minute gratitude meditation that takes you into that feeling of gratitude. And so maybe you could put that link to that in the show notes. That would be awesome.
I sure will. It'll be down in the description so that you can check Lori out. Do you have any more information as to how we can get in touch with you, Lori?
The best place is zenrabbit.com. You can get links to all my socials there. You can send me a message if you want to email me. Yeah, just go find me at zenrabbit.com.
You heard Lori today. She gave us some information about gratitude that was just astounding. I suggest you go to her website and you check out even more details about gratitude directly from her at her website. That'll be down in the description. And Lori, I just want to say thank you so much. I mean, this is gratitude today for you being here, sharing your time and energy with us. It means so much. And I'm sure, I know I did. I walked away with so many nuggets about gratitude that I did not come in with. So I'm sure that the audience really has received a lot of great information for you today. Are there any final words you would like to say before you go?
Oh, I would just kind of quote, there's so many quotes about gratitude, but there's this one that I'm going to totally mangle, but it's that everything starts with gratitude. Like gratitude is the gift that is the parent of all others. I think that was Cicero. That gratitude it basically precedes everything else.
Wow, she even leaves us with bombshells. Lori, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Go out and enjoy this beautiful weather today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.